Okay, so if we're looking at question 1, we already talked about this a little bit, but does someone want to explain to me what veto means in their own words?
Take away, take away, not give them what they want.
Okay. Joe, can you build off that? What did Anna just say? Okay, Anna, can you repeat what you just said?
I said take away or like not give them what they really need.
Okay, so hearing what Anna just said, what do you think veto means?
Really just take away.
Okay. Miguel?
To take the rights away from the U.S. citizens and to take rights from the slaves.
Okay, Maddie, do you have an idea?
I said they can take away.
Okay, so y'all are on the right track. Veto essentially means that it's kind of like a balance of power. So we talked about checks and balances on last Wednesday, I believe, and we talked about how, for example, if Congress passes a bill and the president doesn't really like it, he can veto it, so he can stop it, okay? So it didn't necessarily have to do with the people specifically, but it has to do with laws, okay? Does that make sense? Can I get a thumbs up for everyone with that? Joe, do you get it? Okay, perfect, thank you. So let's move on to number 2. What word does the drawer chest have written on it? And I know it was a little bit hard to read, so maybe someone can read it up there. Freedmen? Okay. So going along with question 3, who were the freedmen? Go.
Free slaves from the north, like they were free slaves, were trying to help their fellow slaves in the south to have rights.
Okay, great. Maddie, do you have a guess?
Okay, what was your question?
The question was number 3. Who were the freedmen after the Civil War?
Oh, okay, so who were the freedmen? I said they were slaves, African American. And I was saying, and after the Civil War, they were free from slavery.
Perfect, that's absolutely right. So this is a little bit confusing because we talked about what on Thursday? Yes, Miguel?
Because after the Civil War, the settlers put a law, think that the slaves didn't have rights. I forgot what it's called.
Okay, well why don't you think about it? So who can tell me what we learned on Thursday? About slaves? We learned about the causes of the Civil War, right?
In the southern and north, unlike the north, they not like slavery, and the south, I'll say they wanted slavery, so yeah.
Okay, perfect. So on Thursday we learned about what led up to the Civil War, and today we're going to be jumping ahead quite a bit. It would not be the order that I would have preferred, but today we're going to be talking about Reconstruction. So we started off before the Civil War, so before the war, and we're going to jump ahead to after the war. Okay? So the Civil War would be in here, and I just think to have a little bit of a visual would help us out. Open up your body. So we started off here on Thursday before the Civil War, then we're skipping over the Civil War and we're going to after the war, which is Reconstruction, okay? So moving on to question number 4, what is President Johnson doing to the chest of drawers? Anna?
He's kicking them.
Okay, right. And yes, Miguel?
He vetoed the Freedmen Act. He vetoed it and only lasted for 5 years.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
For 5 years. I don't remember. I haven't studied this in a while.
Okay, that's good. So if we take what we see of him kicking the chest of drawers down the stairs, how do you think President Johnson feels about these freedmen? Maddie?
I think he's mad because if he was happy or something, he would have. I would say he would not have been kicking the drawers or anything. I'm saying he would be happy. He would be proud of the civil rights for slaves to be free.
Right. Okay.
Boston, because there's some people trying to get out.
Right.
And he's kicking it, so like he's trying to take away their rights. So
Right.
that's basically.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good point. So when we look at this chest or drawer, we see these little tiny people here. And we look at, who's this in this picture?
President Johnson.
President Johnson, right. And so do you think that they look really powerful in this situation?
No.
Who do you think has the power in this picture?
President Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do we think that? What about him? Okay, please raise your hand. All right. So,
Lost the South. It's not his fault he did it. Blame the South laws, not Johnson.
okay, so you don't think this is President Johnson's fault?
Because he think his fault because he feels that the Southerners he was a Southern himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he really said that he lost slaves, so
Mm-hmm.
he vetoed it because he wanted to give the Southerners a chance to earn money and not be poor.
Okay, okay. These are all good thoughts. So, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how the North and the South got back together after the Civil War. So, I want you all to just think in your mind right now, silently and independently, about maybe someone who was in a fight. Two people who were in a fight, who were in a disagreement, and what they were fighting about and how they got back together. Okay? So take about 30 seconds just in your brain to think about someone who was in an argument and how they maybe made up. Okay? At the end of our 30 seconds, we're going to turn and talk to our partner about it. Okay?